You're watching the Legends of Basketball Las Vegas Invitational from the MGM Grand Garden Arena on a beautiful Saturday night in Sin City, and a good matchup for you. Number 11 Gonzaga and USC meeting tonight here in Vegas. Along with Jay Williams, Roxy Bernstein with you. Welcome to Vegas. All right, Jay Will, we got a big matchup tonight. This is going to be a fun game, the Zags and USC.
So we have one team in Gonzaga that has been nationally recognized as one of the most elite teams in this country for a long time. On the opposite end in USC, we have elite guards, potentially the first pick in the 2024 draft, Isaiah Collier. I am here to tell the world I think he has a chance to be special, but I'm seeing it for the first time. So I'm curious how the guards against USC are going to compete against the guards of Gonzaga.
Well, the depth of Gonzaga, too. You look at the starting lineup for Mark Few. Jay Will, all 5 starters in double figures. 5
different leading scorers in 6 games. They have a balanced attack. And it starts with Mr. Anton Watson. Mr. Watson, that boy, good. I'm telling you, 32 points against UCLA, had 15 shot attempts. Second time in his career he scored 20 points or more. And he needs to be aggressive because they have the front court advantage.
On the other side, Jay Will, USC might have the best starting backcourt in the country.
Ooh, look at you with polarizing.
I'm throwing it out there right away.
Well, they got a guy that can play bully basketball. Now, I stood on the court next to Isaiah Collier because I actually wanted to see the size and the height. He's 6'4", 6'5". And then you have potentially the Pac-12 Player of the Year, Boogie Ellis. Scoring comes very easy to him, shooting close to a 48% from the three-point line.
Boogie Ellis coming off a 28-point performance in USC's victory at home when they put up 106 points on Wednesday night. And they battled some injuries so far early in the season. But USC, this could be a big win for them on a neutral floor against number 11 Gonzaga tonight.
Yeah, USC has a loss to UC Irvine. For basketball people or enthusiasts, UC Irvine is a good team. But USC did not have Boogie Ellis nor Kobe Johnson. But a guy like Ellis, I'm telling you, they all need to be prolific. Johnson, Ellis, and Collier are going to be the very disciplined Gonzaga team today.
The Zags have won 3 straight. Only loss was to Purdue. That was over at the Maui tournament, which was played in Honolulu this year.
I mean, what a wacky day in college basketball. You talk about Marquette loses, Duke loses to Georgia Tech, Kentucky loses at home. You know, this thing is up in the air for the best team to win a championship, and it's about a team that can string together wins.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by NBRPA. And there's a deep 3 from Boogie Ellis, and the rebound Graham Ike for Gonzaga. Attacking and inside Ryan Nembhard for the Zags.
The Zags just have a way of getting every Nembhard on their team. Andrew Nembhard.
It's worked out well for Mark.
I mean, it's just keep it going.
One thing that will be fun to watch is the pace. Both teams want to get up and down. Isaiah Collier off balance and a wild shot. Here come the Zags and Anton Watson in transition.
Good pass.
And well challenged is the freshman Dusty Stromer missing inside. And Boogie Ellis off balance ties the game.
Boogie Ellis.
Lineup for the Zags. Starting 5 for Mark Few. There's a foul inside called against the Trojans, and it's on their big guy, Joshua Morgan. Here is Mark Few, 25th season as the head coach for the Zags. And he's got the best winning percentage all time of coaches, minimum 10 years. He's won 23 or more games every season in the NCAA tournament for Gonzaga.
I think that's a pretty good resume, right? I mean, 2 national championship appearances, countless #1 seeds, hasn't gotten over the hump yet. But I remember when a day where there's a guy named Jason Wright who couldn't get over the hump. And, you know, it's funny how things like that work out. Mark Few is one of the best coaches to ever do it.
There was a guy back in the day, Mike Krzyzewski, that they said couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, a lot of
I think it's worked out okay for him. Here come the Trojans wearing the gold tonight. Zags in the black. DJ Rodman Grad transfer from Washington State, lost the handle. And a loose ball corralled by Nolan Hickman.
I love how Gonzaga has active hands. They work today against some of the post-ups of the bigger guards.
And a three for the freshman Dusty Stromer.
Four-star recruit, shooting 30% on the three-point line. But I love the spacing by the Zags. USC wants to drive and attack. It's going to lead for rebounds, and they can push the ball in transition, knock down those shots.
Boogie got the flyby that missed the three, and there is Stromer on the glass for the Zags. This Gonzaga team averaging 83 points per game early in the year. And the floater by Ryan Nembhard.
I'll tell you, the ability to turn that corner and see the big coming from the opposite wing, but that lofty lay with the English against the glass, that is a big-time shot.
The advantage that both teams have, Jay Will, as you look at the lineups for both Mark Few and Andy Enfield, each side starts 2-point guards, and the ball really moves with those two out there on the floor.
When you think about the teams for the Zags that started two guards.
Graham Ike down low, and an early 9-2 lead for number 11 Gonzaga.
Crazy to say.
Second timeout, USC.
Crazy to think that Gonzaga is actually underrated. Imagine that. They're underrated. What am I talking about?
It's easy to get lost in investment research. Introducing JP Morgan Personal Advisors.
Hey, David.
Connect with an advisor to create your personalized plan.
Let's find the right investments for your goals.
Okay, great.
JP Morgan Wealth Management.
Dude, you coming?
Because the only thing dripping should be your style. Plop Plop is Fizz with Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and flu relief. Also try for Fizzy Fast cough relief.
An early 9-2 lead for Gonzaga, forcing USC to take an early 30.
Well, off rebounds, great job right there by Watson to find Stromer in the corner to knock down the shot. And then this is the shot I was talking about with Nembhard. A little floater off the glass, and then the post-up, just taking his time. I mean, look, he has a chance to be special. The transfer, probably if, Timmy is here, he doesn't come. But his ability to score inside and out, and I think that's what Gonzaga has to do. They have to play through Ike, right, because that's where they have the advantage down low in the front court. When he gets going offensively, it's going to expose the lack of depth for USC, who doesn't have a lot of size up front.
Fouling Anton Watson of Gonzaga.
How do you just not say Mr. Watson? Just every time.
Mr. Anton Watson World Tour. TJ Rodman spots up for three. And Nolan Hickman clears for the Zags.
Great defensive scheme by Gonzaga. Every time that Boogie or Collier try to post up, they were throwing a double at them and forcing them to make shots from the outside.
On the attack, Boogie Ellis. Kobe Johnson launching, and he had a clean look and missed. USC struggling, just 1 for 7 from the field to start it, and 0 for 4 from three.
Team that shoots 39% from the three-point line. Average 9 made threes per game.
Step back from Nolan Hickman. 12-2 Gonzaga.
Gonzaga feels like the team that gives you death by 1,000 cuts. They execute, and they have a very high basketball IQ. And just the way they defend. I mean, look, everybody's stopping together. They're forcing it. It works as a unit.
Transition three, Dusty Stromer. What a start for Gonzaga. Trojans have to find a way to put the ball in the basket. And DJ Rodman had a good look, and the offensive rebound by Vincent Iwuchukwu. And a foul underneath, but Jay Will, it's all Zags early in Vegas.
You talk about spacing, you talk about Stromer knocking down threes. This is what the Zags do. Hickman taking his time, a little step back action there. And then once again, in transition, you gotta find shooters, you gotta get hands up to contest, because if not, game blouses.
Gonzaga, Jay Will, on a 13-0 run. And right now, they have jumped out to a big lead on USC, and of course, we know the sustained success now for Mark Few and Gonzaga.
I mean, just look at that, 25 NCAA tournament appearances, 24 consecutive, like I said before, 2 national championship appearances, 13 Sweet 16. We were talking to him at shoot-around today, and just spending 48 days for USA basketball, think about this. What better of a basketball environment conducive to learning when you have Mark Few, Steve Kerr, and Tyronn Lue on the same team, along with Grant Hill, who runs USA basketball, to literally think through how to organize and develop the right skill sets for your team to win.
Freshman Arrington Page from his high school teammate as Isaiah Collier flipped it to him to end the drought for USC.
You're USC, you're down 4-15, no need to rush. This is a long game. Gonzaga had their run, but you got to play strong defense. But what a move by Ike.
Graham Ike will get to the line. Foul committed by Kobe Johnson of the Trojans. 2 shots for Ike, 6'9" junior from Aurora, Colorado. Who sat out last year, had a lower leg injury, the medical redshirt for Ike. But monster numbers for Wyoming in the 22 season when he was first team All-Mountain West.
Sporting News 2022-23 preseason player of the year. A lefty, and I'll tell you, Roxy, he has great poise on the block. Just watching him, he gets to his spots. He obviously likes to turn over that right shoulder, but a very smart basketball player. And like we said before, if you start getting into the depth of USC's front court, that's going to be the major advantage for the Zags.
And that's something that USC has been dealing with, even though, look, they've scored 106 points in their win on Wednesday night, the most they'd scored in over 20 years in a game. But the question of 20 years, they hadn't scored. They scored 107 points in a game against Bradley in 2000. That was the last time they scored at least 106 in a game. Ryan Nembhard called for the foul. But the key for USC and Andy Enfield, talking to their coaches, Jay Will, is the front court scoring. Where are they going to get it from? They know the backcourt's going to produce. Kobe Johnson goes inside with Collier, with Boogie Ellis. Kobe Johnson, Bronny James hopefully soon.
Yeah.
What's going to happen on the interior for USC?
Well, also, I put a lot of that on the guards. I think the guards are all prolific scorers. I think Collier has the ability to be a playmaker, but it's also the guards' responsibilities to deliver the ball on a silver platter for their bigs to go up and just finish strong.
This inside from Graham Ike, and it belongs to USC as he was challenged by Vincent Iwuchukwu. That's the guy that Andy Enfield is hoping that can be that factor down low for them offensively. He's been through a lot. And a lot was made, of course, of the situation with Bronny James. He's been medically cleared now to resume practicing, and we could see him in a game soon for USC. He had his cardiac arrest in July. Vincent Iwuchukwu had a cardiac situation himself a year and a half ago almost now.
Yeah, also coming off back surgery. I mean, look, he is super talented, just doesn't have the reps, and that's going to come in time.
Open three, and Ben Gregg the miss for the offensive rebound. Ike and the kick out. Ryan Nembhard drains it.
Best threes are off of offensive rebounds, and once again, USC, a lot of players watching the fly of the ball. Ike just carving out space down low to grab that offensive board.
So through the first 6 games this season, Gonzaga is averaging 6 made threes per game. They've already made 4 in the first 7 minutes as Isaiah Collier with the finish.
I like that. Get him going offensively. Catch him on the pinch post. Now him go to work.
There's Boogie Ellis off the tip. USC looks to attack. Page runs the floor.
We talked about that today with Andy Enfield about kicking the ball ahead, playing fast, and then seeing if the bigs for Gonzaga can get back and running the floor. And that's how you have to play, with speed.
Three is blocked. Ben Gregg gets tipped ahead for Kobe Johnson. Attacks the basket. Johnson misses. There's Collier.
Look at that. That's bully ball right there.
And he draws the foul. Will get to the line. What a strong move again by Isaiah Collier, who is so physically imposing as a freshman.
Well, Dusty Stromer is 6'6". And like we said earlier today, Collier is 6'4", legit 6'4", and 215 pounds. And he utilizes that frame all the time. And this is why people understand he has the ability to be a top pro in the draft coming up, because of those shoulders and the way he plays bully basketball.
Free throw rattles out for Isaiah Collier, who was the consensus #1 national prospect coming into USC. You alluded to it. Jonathan Gavoni earlier this week came out with his NBA draft predictions for right now. And our draft analyst at ESPN says that he will be the #1 pick in the NBA draft next spring.
Super talented. Now look, a lot of people are going to question his decision-making. Averages around 5 turnovers per game. But because of that right there, I mean, how about this? His first game, within the first 17 minutes, Roxy, he had 3 and 1s against Kansas State. 3 and 1s. So that body control and that balance is something that makes him unique in this game.
Cut into the basket, and the layup falls off for Braden Huff as the redshirt freshman had a point-blank chance. And a travel against Hosea Sellers off the USC bench.
I say it all the time. Sometimes, Roxy, is called mouse in the house. That doesn't mean that you're a smaller player. That just means that a guy understands how to utilize his frame, and he can finish through contact. Collier is one of the best players in college basketball, and that upper body frame, good luck stopping that.
We mentioned Bronny James. There he is. He is here with USC. In fact, went through shoot-around earlier today, went through pregame warm-ups with the Trojans. Here he was pregame, as he has been cleared for full basketball activity. It happened earlier this week. He had the cardiac arrest in late July. And luckily, everything is progressing great for Bronny James, and we could see him out on the floor in a game soon, probably sooner than later.
Yeah. I wish we could have seen him tonight. There's a process. Maybe we'll get a chance to see him when we actually call USC's games at Auburn. But I have to tell you, the one word that I would utilize to define him after speaking with him today is unafraid. Like, he is unafraid for everything he's been through. His work ethic, I love everything about him, Roxy. He trained today after everybody else left. He was the first one here. He was the last one to leave. Who does that remind you of? Right, like, that's his father, and that's
and you wonder where he gets the work.
And that's the approach that he brings to the game of basketball, and a very workman-like approach in everything he does. I think he's going to be a special talent.
Tough runner from Anton Watson for Gonzaga, and his first points of the night. Zags by 10. They've led by as many as 14 already.
I also tell you what Bronny James brings to this team. He'll probably be 6th man, but when Isaiah Collier turns the ball over a ton, Andy Enfield can then say, come sit next to me for a while. Think about it, because you have another playmaker and a guy who's a very high basketball IQ. As we see Boogie Ellis starting to boogie a little bit on the court.
He made 8 threes in that 106-point outburst Wednesday night.
8 of 10. Just by the way, I've made 8 of 10, 8 of 11 shots before. That's not something that just happens all the time.
Nice footwork down low by Braden Huff for Gonzaga. Yeah, that's usually my percentage on layups, 8 out of 10.
That's 8 of 10? That's fine. You got to start somewhere, Rox. It's okay.
Got to build your confidence somewhere.
You weren't out there shooting with me today. How come you were afraid to pick
There's
up
a
the
reason
ball?
why.
Tough shot.
And the rebound claimed by the Zags. Ryan Nembhard in transition. Has it ripped away by Hosea Sellers, and a steal for the Trojans. Harrington Page moves in, and he missed, and it's claimed by Gonzaga. Page a little slow to get up.
I don't like the shot. I don't like the forced shot. Okay, all right.
Braden Huff.
All right.
The redshirt freshman averaging 11.5 points off the bench, the former Illinois Mr. Basketball. Boogie Ellis, the tough runner. And the rebound, Ben Gregg.
Roxy, the hard thing for USC at times. Strong move. No passes. Multiple possessions where there have been no passes.
Too much one-on-one.
It's been ISO basketball. And when there are no passes, the defense can all slug in because you guys aren't moving. So it's become stagnant. See, this is a good set. Get everybody rotating, forcing them to make plays and decisions.
And Boogie Ellis missing the open look. And the rebound batted around, and the Zags control it. Braden Huff. USC just 1 for 9 from 3.
Like we said earlier, a team that's averaging 9 made threes a game, shooting 39%.
And the offensive foul on Nolan Hickman.
You know, as a guard, you tell your bigs all the time, you run the floor, I'm going to feed you. You know, and how about when the bigs actually get a chance to get the rebound, and they say, I don't need you, little guard, it's too easy. And by the way, that's where USC needs to meet a guy like Brandon Huff with force. Meet him early. Don't allow him just to get to the basket with ease.
Here's Collier. Gonna back his way down. Out of the double team. Beautiful feed to DJ Rodman. Boy, what a pass by Collier.
If you're going to come over and double team him, your hands better be active, because he sees the double team coming and he knows where all his teammates are at all times.
In and out for Dusty Stromer, and the rebound controlled by SC.
So this is where I just want USC. This is what I would run the same set.
Kobe Johnson goes baseline. Spots up in the corner. Three.
Second most steals in the Pac-12 last year for Kobe Johnson. Talked to a scout today saying that he thinks he probably has the second best potential on this team outside of Collier.
He's such a good on-ball defender. But now a foul is called, and the broadcaster jinx, it's on Kobe Johnson in second.
This is why Collier's a pro. If you want to come out and be a double team, your arms just can't be up. They have to be active. He's able to see right in between the gap. You got to squeeze that gap when you attack. Look at the pass, boom, right there. He takes that back dribble. He sees the trap coming even more. Ike has to stunt at him. If he's going to back dribble, you can't go. You got to go and come back. You got to keep him guessing defensively. If he stays on the block, then go double. But if he starts that back dribble, you got to get back to your man defensively.
Stromer launching. Clanks that three, and the rebound hustling forward is Watson, and it goes to USC. Last touch by Anton Watson. 14-point lead for the Zags, down to 6. USC clawing their way back. It is V Week here on ESPN, and on the other side.
Give up. Don't ever give up.
We're behind you 100%, Amy. She's such a great person to be around, a friend, but also such a vital member to our crew and what she does. It's V Week at ESPN. We partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research.
Roxy, my freshman year, we got a chance to visit Duke Hospital and saw their children's division. And when you see young people or people in general fighting for their lives every day, it puts into perspective what you do on the court, and you recognize, hey, what I thought was hard work, it's a pleasure. There's nothing hard about playing basketball at all.
Graham Ike has a ball strip, but a foul called on Harrison Hornery of USC. For the reach and foul, his first.
The USC foul, it's number 24, Joshua Morgan.
Actually, Joshua Morgan called for the foul, not Hornery. And it's the second on Morgan.
There is a tendency with the style and pace that USC plays with their guards and their shot-making ability that Gonzaga wants to play at that same style. And if I were Gonzaga, once again, you have a major advantage on the block. I will continue to work the block with Ike down low.
Recovers in the post. And a double dribble and a Gonzaga turnover.
Possession back to the Trojans.
The Zags have gone scoreless for a little over 3 minutes. That's opened the door for USC to get back into the game.
Well, this is, it almost feels like Andy Enfield can't take Isaiah Collier off the court. He has 3 assists, no turnovers. The rest of the team, 1 assist. So if you're going to post up or if you're going to have a playmaker on the court who's not looking for just his shot but looking for others, that is Isaiah Collier.
DJ Robinson knocked away by Anton Watson.
Give it up.
Collier hustling back, and ricochets over to Dusty Stromer, who lays it in. And Stromer has 8 to lead Gonzaga.
Got him slipping right there every time.
And a foul will send Vincent Iwuchukwu to the line.
Once again, sometimes it's not about being complex, it's about keeping it simple. Isaiah Collier, 215 pounds, You saw him push the ball down the court. You let the defense flatten out, and then you get a chance to survey the court. And that's what he does when he can take a bigger guard, even a smaller guard on the block. And I thought he was going to give the ball up, but sometimes the basketball guys are seeing your favor. Right off the knee, right to a player.
Now, will he get an assist for that?
Yeah, why not? You can't be selfish with it, you know? Hey, look, if you want to give me an extra assist or two in the stats, I'm going to take it every time, Monty.
Vincent Iwuchukwu rattles out as USC now 0 for 3 from the line. And by the way, they did give Ryan Nembhard an assist there.
That's right. I mean, he passed the ball. It just
went off.
Came off his knee. That's still a pass. Still counts.
Soccer style. Iwuchukwu. Now the Trojans 0 for 4 from the line. And a zone look from USC. Nembhard on the baseline. And it's tipped to Boogie Ellis. USC brings it across. Approaching 6 minutes to go.
Run it again. Keep it easy. I'll tell you, we had a game, and it was in Alabama. It was against Clemson, and Alabama plays really fast, and I kept saying, play fast, think slow. That's always the most difficult challenge for young guards, hence why you have Isaiah Collier turning the ball over more than he has assists. But when he plays within himself, there aren't too many better players in the game of basketball on the collegiate level.
Step back miss by Ryan Nembhard. Here come the Trojans again with Collier. He'll attack. Collier has it denied. But the Trojans run it down. Not getting him the second time as Isaiah Collier weaves his way inside. The Gonzaga lead down to 4.
Is he a beast or what?
8 points for Isaiah Collier.
You see right now for Collier, USC's guards are standing up defensively, looking a little tired.
And the 3 rattles in for Braden Huff.
That was one of those rotations that should have came from Collier, but he's gassed, he looks winded. That's where the addition of Bronny James for this team will be extremely beneficial, to give guys like Collier a blow, give guys like Boogie Ellis a chance to replenish on the sideline for a second. Brings depth to their backcourt.
Boogie Ellis created some space somehow and got it up and in.
Those trio of guards between Ellis, Collier, and Johnson remind me a little bit of what Baylor had last year with L.J. Cryer. Talk about the way they play with their 3 guards as well. Keontae George, and company. Similar guys that can get going offensively at any given time of the game. And that's where you get into some NBA scouts a little bit, Roxy. You see Stromer coming from the weak side blocking it. He's athletic, but he doesn't have explosive NBA type of athleticism for Collier. Not yet.
Vincent Iwuchukwu has it knocked away. Stromer transition 3, in and out, and the rebound and a tie-up, and the arrow belongs to USC. 5-point lead for Gonzaga. 3:49 to go, first half in Vegas.
December, it's 70 degrees.
Kevin Sean and Coach Seth Greenberg coming up at the half. 3:40 from now. It's gotten tight. Zags led by 14 early. It's down to 5. As Boogie Ellis drives, drop off, and the slam for Arrington Page.
That is the missing link for USC basketball. All their guards have to be playmakers. I know Boogie Ellis is a big-time scorer, averaging 21 points per game. But the more he can get into the teeth of the defense and create easy buckets like that for the bigs, that's what I alluded to earlier, Roxy, making it simple for the bigs to score.
Nice finish from Nolan Hickman. And it's back to a 5-point lead for the Zags. And when Bronny gets worked in, for USC. How is that going to change the dynamic?
High basketball IQ, and he makes the game easy. And it's small things like kicking the ball ahead, giving the hockey assist, the thinking through of the game, and the shooting ability to stretch out the defense is something that's going to be extremely additive for the Trojans when Bronny James comes back.
Drayton Huff in transition at 3. Second 3 for Huff, who has 10 off the bench.
Yeah, Braden Huff and Icky, their bigs are better shooters than the guards. I mean, you talk about Brandon Huff shooting 47% from the three-point line, and these are guys that you have to tag in transition.
Tough fadeaway, and Boogie Ellison rattles out. And the loose ball tracked down by Vincent Iwuchukwu for SC. Page down the lane, and he takes a hard fall. Foul on Graham Ike, and Arrington Page has rolled over. You can see he's in some discomfort. And that was a long way down to the floor for Page.
Right on that tailbone. Thank goodness he's able to get up and walk that off. That is
scary.
Yeah. You know, it's a tough foul by Ike. That's what you want. You know, I'll tell you right now, a lesson for him moving forward is when you go up like that for Page, and you come down the lane, you gotta go up with 2 hands. You gotta go with 2 hands, and you gotta brace yourself for contact. And you're talking about a freshman, a guy who's super athletic.
He left himself prone.
Yeah, you know, that's something that you learn as you play this game. You know, when you get to the next level, you know, NBA teams, the good college teams have rules about no easy tools. And, you know, people aren't trying to be made into IG posts, you know, or social media memes. You know, guys are going to give you a hard foul. You got to go with 2 hands.
So our crew of Randy McCall, Greg Nixon, and Chance Moore went to the monitor to see if it warranted anything more than a common foul. They'll stay with the common foul, so no upgrade to a flagrant 1. And because Ike made a play on the ball.
He made a play, but that's what I was talking about for Page. He exposed himself here by going off 1 hand. And don't get me wrong, look, it could have been electric play if he was able to pull that off. But you got to know a guy like Ike, who's a veteran, who understands how to play, he's going to give you a hard foul. And that's the right play if you're Ike. I mean, you're going to make him earn it at the free throw line.
And unfortunately for Page, he landed right on that tailbone. He left himself susceptible because of what you talked about. You got to go in strong with 2 hands.
I mean, look, when I came into the league, there was a guy in the league, the enforcer, Charles Oakley, that if you were coming down the lane, you knew right away, I'm going to shoot a floater, or I'm going to brace myself to get hit in the face, right? Like, that is, but by the way, that is basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Like basketball is a physical game, and when you come into the lane, you should be met with force. And I'm glad we're getting back to that a little bit. And by the way, you didn't see anybody from Gonzaga help him up. Like, everybody, okay, he's okay. But look, you're going to take hard fouls. Now go to the free throw line and earn it.
And he makes 1 out of 2. Page has 7 off the bench. USC just 1 for 6 from the free throw line now. And it's a 7-point lead for the Zags, approaching 2 minutes to go until halftime.
Good pass.
Graham Ike. And a foul will get Ike to the line. It was a clean block by Page, but Oziah Sellers got him down low.
Talked about the IQ of Ike. Utilizing ball fakes, head fakes, recognizing the athletic ability of the USC bigs, but they are prone to leave their feet on every ball fake or head fake, and that's where he takes advantage of. That's easy living down there for him.
Ike 2 for 2 from the line already tonight. The 29th annual Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden again this season. Tuesday night on ESPN and the ESPN app as FAU takes on Illinois at 6:30 Eastern. Then number 17 North Carolina against number 4 UConn. Always a great night for a great cause. Again, to donate to the Jimmy V Foundation, go to v.org.
UConn coming off that tough loss on the road against Kansas. Get a chance to see one of the best bigs in college basketball go against Armando Bacot of North Carolina. Seth and I will be there. It's going to be a big-time game at the Garden.
Deep 3 from Boogie Ellis, his second 3. He's got 10. is going to be a great doubleheader at the Garden. Graham Ike down low.
You know, Page is going to have to start meeting Ike with force. Ike is just walking down low to the block. He's not being met with a forearm, a push off the block. He's just solidifying himself in the middle of the paint, getting whatever he wants.
Arrington Page backing in. Still 10 on the timer. Isaiah Collier finds DJ Rodman. Free.
DJ Rodman for three.
And a whistle away from the ball. It's on Kajani Wright of USC.
Now,
First on Wright.
If you're gonna blitz the ball screen, or if you want to say red, you got to be tight. You're seeing Ike came out too far wide, and you got to be right there on the hip of the defender setting the screen to not give him any lane, because he's so good at changing and being shifty with angles. He's going to split you or get around you. You got to bottle him up. That's what Mark Few talked about today. We have to bottle Isaiah Collier up and get the ball out of his hands and force somebody else to make a play.
Graham Ike stumbles across the lane, but it's cleaned up by Ben Gregg. And a timeout for Gonzaga with 40.5 seconds to go until halftime.
Foxy, there were times in my career, my sophomore, my junior year, where opposing teams will put a freshman on me. And can I tell you, my eyes got so big when I saw a young fellow on me, because first off, you can tell that their conditioning isn't the same, especially from the bigs. You can tell that they're so excited to play that they want to block every shot, right? So ball fakes like we talked about with Ike. And that leaves you open when everybody goes up to block the shot. It leaves him open. Once again, look, he's able to get position on the block. He's not being met with any force at all. That's too easy a basketball. Page has to meet him early, try to tire his legs out by making him work for position on the block. Because if not, he's going to give you buckets nonstop.
And Graham Ike steps into the role. Look, Drew Timme was the guy for 4 years. And what's crazy is he could have come back for one more year to Gonzaga if he wanted to. With the free COVID year.
NIL, you think about the money where that would have been.
And reports are he did pretty well in that avenue.
Yeah, you know, I think Drew Timme carried a lot of weight on his shoulders last year with trying to be the main offensive force for the team. You know, that's what happens. That's the weight of being on the blue blood like Gonzaga.
First appearance for Jun Suk Yo, the sophomore from South Korea for Gonzaga. Ten-second differential between the shot clock and half clock. Here's Boogie Ellis down the lane. The tip, Vincent Iwuchukwu got it up and in. Now the Zags can play for the last shot of the half.
Too early, too early.
Graham Ike off the window.
Good shot. Still very early.
One last run at it for USC. Collier gets inside, and he's fouled with 9/10 of a second to go in the half.
All right. So young players at home. It's something that I used to work on all the time. And it's so good because Isaiah Collier does it every single possession as you're watching Ike go up, down low, getting footwork. Your shoulders are knives. I want to stick my knife in the middle of your chest every time I drive. And you notice every time Isaiah Collier is able to get to certain, he doesn't look for angles to try to beat you to the spot. He pushes you through the spot by sending that knife through the middle of your sternum. And when he gets you bouncing back, now he has you at his mercy. He can finish through you at the rim, or he can pull up for that little mid-range shot, and that's what makes him a unique talent. Those knives of his shoulders, he doesn't have to blow by you. He catches an inch on you, he's going to push you out of the way.
One more for Collier with 5 assists, 8 points in the first half. USC just 1 for 8 from the free throw line. Halftime, and it's a 7-point lead for Gonzaga.
Good for Collier, a 79% free throw shooting team. This team also shooting around, 70% from the free throw line in general. That's a lot of points you left on the board when you're down. It's a close game.
10 each for Graham Ike and Brayton Huff to lead Gonzaga. 7-point lead for the Zags at a half here in Vegas. Now we go to Kevin Connors, Sean Farnham, and Seth Greenberg in the studio. You're watching the Legends of Basketball Las Vegas Invitational from the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Getting ready for the start of the second half with number 11 Gonzaga leading USC 44-37 with Jay Williams, Roxy Bernstein with you. And interesting first half. Gonzaga got out to the early lead. USC came back and made it interesting. 7-point lead for the Zags.
It's a game of runs, Roxy, right? And you got to know you can't get too high, you can't get too low. Now look, USC got wide open shots from the three-point line, 4 of 13 in the first half. But still, you have to give Gonzaga a lot of credit because when their leading scorer, Anton Watson, was out with foul trouble, Graham Ike just absolutely went off and did his thing down low on the block.
Well, speaking of Ike, as we go inside the play, brought to you by Fort Myers.
They're talking about Ike with, being able to gather space down low on the block. And I said a lot of times when you go against younger players, they don't meet you with friction. USC did not do a good job of trying to push Ike off the block. You're going to see here, he's not met with any kind of connectivity at all. He's able just to kind of roam. Now, I know that USC is in the zone, and you're seeing down low them point towards the left wing for a wide open shot. But when a big like that has all that space and he's able to turn over that right shoulder, look at the head fakes, look at the poise, and he's got his way down low on the block.
Let's take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Intersport. And Graham Ike, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Isaiah Collier, 8 points, 5 assists in the first half for USC.
A guy we made mention of, Anton Watson. He is Mr. Glue for this team. He had 32 points in the game against UCLA. They really want him to be more aggressive because he has that in him. But Mark Few was talking today about his importance on the court just because of his skill level and his IQ, that he can do anything you need him to do, Roxy. You need him to guard Isaiah Collier, he can do that. You need him to make a bucket, he can do that. Look for him to get going in the second half.
Kobe Johnson rattles out a 3 in transition. As USC struggled at the foul line, they were 1 for 8 from the floor in the first half. A foul off the ball, it's the 3rd on Kobe Johnson. And I bring it up because you want the irony? Andy Enfield has the all-time college basketball free throw percentage record as a player. He was 92.5% in his college career. The shot doctor is what they nicknamed him when he worked in the NBA with Milwaukee and Boston. So 92.5% as a 3 for Dusty Stromer has not got a career high 11. But then the Trojans go 1 for 8 from the line in the first half.
You got to think with the backcourt that the Trojans have. I mean, the average free throw shooting percentage between Boogie Ellis, Collier, and Johnson is 79%. And those are trippies that you got to make, especially when you have elite guards. What's the point of having elite guards if you can't make free throws?
Joshua Morgan missing inside. Graham Ike lays it in. And a good start to the second half for Gonzaga. They're up 12. They led by as many as 14 in the first half.
I feel like Gonzaga in the first half got too loose with the ball. They started playing that faster pace. Instead of executing and getting what they wanted out of their sets, they started settling for threes and quick shots. And that's not Gonzaga basketball.
There's
not with this year's team.
Off the ball on Ryan Nembhard of Gonzaga.
And you're going to see right here, number 1, I mean, look at Isaiah Collier not paying attention to the shooter Stromer in the corner. And you got to get that butt all the way back down to the baseline. You're supposed to see ball and your man. And when it's still being a freshman on the court, guys like Stromer are able to take advantage of guys when you take your eye off the ball.
3 rattles out for Boogie Ellis. Nolan Hickman brings it up for Gonzaga. So Graham Ike leads the Zags with 12. Dusty Stromer already a career high with 11. And then 10 for Brayton Huff off the bench. Boogie Ellis leading the Trojans with 10.
That's a moving screen. That's a good call.
And that's the 3rd on Graham Ike.
I don't put that on Graham Ike. People at home, you're going to say, well, Ike, stop moving it. That is on Ryan Nembhard. You have to wait for the screen to be set. He's playing with it. You see, you can't lead him to a screen until the screen is set. That's where you have that. Nembhard has to say, hey, come over here, get set, and then you go off the screen. That's on Nembhard, not Ike.
Graham Ike blocks the shot of Isaiah Collier.
You hear him talk that trash? You hear him let him know? Get that! And by the way, that's what you need. You need some nastiness down low if you're Gonzaga. We've talked about them having the advantage in the front court. By the way, that starts with the mindset. And that mindset starts with intimidation. You come over from the weak side, you get that out of here. This is my lane. Bully ball is not acceptable in my lane. That's what you need. Some people at home may find it aggressive, Roxy, but we're playing an aggressive style of basketball.
Sometimes you just got to take one just to send a message.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
I tell you, next time you come down the lane, you're going to be looking for me.
Turnover, 3-on-1 for USC.
No, I don't like that.
Josh Morgan gets it to go in as it rattles around, but I'm with you. You don't give the ball there.
Yeah, and not that far out. You get it a little bit deeper where you can just go straight up. You put him in a compromising position by making him make a decision. I want my bigs to think less. I just want them to react.
Anton Watson in the corner. 3 for Watson.
Now, if you're going to say his name, can you say it correctly, Roxy, please?
Watson.
There you go. Who made the 3, Roxy?
Watson.
There it is.
Great start to the second half for the Zags. Boogie Ellis all the way to the bucket.
Kept that ball extended with the left hand. That's a big-time move.
Another big-time move, Ryan Nembhard for the Zags. And a timeout for USC. Gonzaga, a 13-point lead in Andy Enfield. Not thrilled with the start to the second half for USC. So Isaiah Collier of USC, 8 points, 5 assists so far.
And 1.
The bully ball that he's playing.
I mean, look, pretty much all of his points have came in the paint, but he has the vision right there on the post up. He can finish through traffic. Some things that he needs to work on, though. Man-U ball, losing Stromer in the corner. You're going to see that defensive maturity and IQ on that end of the court expand over time. But there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's wearing number 1 because he's probably going to be the first pick taken in the draft. And as you look at some of the pros, I got a chance to talk to a lot of scouts. Here's my own interpretation of him. Look, he has a size in the frame, 6'4", 6'5", 215 pounds. Playmaking, IQ, vision. You've seen that already, competitive edge. Khan's good athlete, but not top-tier explosive. 6'5" with a 6'4" wingspan. T-Rex arms at times, things that scouts look for. And Roxy, the biggest thing that I think he needs to work on, he's only taken 19 three-point shots. People are going to play off of him. And a lot of times, because of his frame and that size, I really think he needs to lean out a little bit more. And that's going to come with him making 500 to 600 made threes a day. Because if he adds that to his repertoire, it's over. Because now you're going to have teams play off of him because they know he wants to drive and he doesn't want to settle. But he starts making down that shot, it's over.
Anton Watson has it blocked, picked up by Dusty Stromer. And it's broken up by Kobe Johnson, but it goes out of bounds. And it stays with Gonzaga. And they're going to put 20 on the shot clock for Gonzaga with the ball in the front court. But as far as the jumper goes with him, and you want to see him in the gym, when you were working to improve your game, were you a guy that was making 500, 600 threes every day?
So my freshman year, I did not know how to work. You know, a lot of these young players have trainers, things that they end up doing. But going into my sophomore year, that's when I started making 500 to 600 made shots a day. And by the way, 500 to 600 made shots, you're probably taking 800 to 900 shots, right? So that muscle memory does wonders to your game, and that's the next level for a guy like Isaiah Collier.
Collier and the Trojans down 13 to the Zags early in the second half. Eastern, then it's number 10 Texas and number 11 UConn. We cap the day on ESPN. Number 16 Ohio State. Number 20 Tennessee. To donate to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, go to v.org. As you look at the women's top 10, we should point out, we've been talking about Isaiah Collier as the number 1 men's recruit in the country coming in. The number 1 women's recruit into college basketball this year is also at USC.
Juju.
It's the first time in the history of college basketball that the number 1 player on the men's and women's side went to the same school. And what a start for Juju Watkins, playing for Lindsey Gottlieb at USC. Already 4 30-point games in the first 6 games of the season for the women of Troy.
Look, a year and a half ago, I heard about her from my boy Keyshawn Johnson when we were doing the morning show. Shout out to you, Key, and what you guys are doing on your show. But, I mean, he was talking about her being elite and special. And, Roxy, I'm going to say it again, there is a little bit of this West Coast bias here because we are not talking about Juju enough on the East Coast. And I don't know if it's because the late games and people not staying up watching, but we have 2 potential first picks in the WNBA and the NBA draft, both playing on the West Coast, and they need more notoriety.
Largest lead for Gonzaga as Boogie Ellis spins inside.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Roxy. You have 3 thoroughbred guards on USC, okay? Guards that like to play fast, guards that like to score and run. Why have we not seen them press full court man-to-man yet?
To speed up Gonzaga.
Yes. Gonzaga has 6 turnovers. You're down 13 points. It's time for their guards to step up defensively and start locking up the full length of the court.
Shot clock violation. Gonzaga with a turnover. It goes to USC.
And you're seeing their guards winded. I mean, Boogie Ellis is a special player. His hands are just on his knees. So, like, this is what we're talking about, the addition of having Bronny James come back on the floor to give a break. But in order for USC to achieve the level that we think they can, those guards have to really buy in defensively. I know Kobe Johnson can do it, but you need Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier to get involved too.
And a turnover by the Trojans. Anton Watson leads the break. And Braden Huff will go to the line for Gonzaga.
So what a pass by Watson. We talk about him being a utility player, but I was going to tell you why he made that pass. Kobe Johnson's hands were down. If you're coming back and you're defending, you got to have active hands. Your hands have to be up. He's able to take the ball up here. He's not met with any. Look, his hands were down. If your hands are down, I can see the floor. Kobe Johnson has to have active hands. You have to be discouraging from making those types of passes.
Miss for Huff, one more. And the news again earlier this week that Bronny James was cleared for full basketball activity, and he resumed those activities, went through shoot around earlier today, and you were talking about the workout he was going through. I mean, we'll see when he plays in a game for USC, but he'll be fully engulfed in practice this week with the Trojans. They don't play again until next Sunday. They host Long Beach State. Could that be a day we could see Bronny James a little over a week from now?
I hope he saves it for when you and I call USC at Auburn.
Isaiah Collier runs the floor and is fouled. We'll get to the line.
Let me just make this statement very quickly because it's been trending over the last couple of days. If anybody, and I mean it, Roxy, if anybody has a problem with LeBron James after almost losing his son and his family and his wife Gloria, for him to miss a game with the Los Angeles Lakers, to be there to watch his son's first collegiate basketball experience, you can go kick rocks. I mean, it is literally family over everything. And I get it. He is the son of maybe the greatest player to ever play the game. If you want to have that debate about Michael Jordan, fine. I do not care. But the amount of time and effort that Bronny has put into the game, he doesn't ask for all the attention. He doesn't ask for the accolades. Today here in practice, he was engaged. He was clapping. He's a participant. He does the dirty work. He shows up, and he wants it. Like, let's just give praise to a young man trying to find his way back on the court.
And he works at it. We saw the attention to detail that he had earlier today. And you could see he's a great teammate.
He wants to win. And by the way, like, going to college is a great experience for him. He's going to get a chance to prove that. And I'm just glad he's okay to play the game of basketball again.
On the reload, Dusty Stromer missing the three, and Boogie Ellis the rebound. Here come the Trojans, trying to get it back to single digits. Collier gets inside, has it stripped, and the loose ball, there's Graham Ike, and Collier tied him up. The arrow belongs to USC.
I thought he missed the lob in transition, got a little bit too deep, and active hands there by Gonzaga. But I love the fight by Collier. That's the competitive edge we were talking about here. Going against a guy who's 6'8", 240 pounds, and yeah, small guards. That's right. Stick with it. Let's get it.
And a whistle off the ball, and Graham Ike with the foul, and for Ike, that's his fourth, with 13:33 to go, and a big problem for Mark Few. So Ike's gonna have to sit for a while.
Yeah, but now you're bringing a guy in, Brandon Huff, who's shooting 47% from the three-point line, and the tendency for bigs sometimes is to run back and secure the paint. And Huff is really good at catching the ball in second-hand transition and knocking down the shot. That's the right call.
And now an illegal screen called against Arrington Page of USC.
Oh, we're seeing USC press up a little bit, huh? Okay.
I wonder if they had a little earpiece over in the huddle hearing you.
Andy Enfield knows how to play this game. He's one of the best coaches there is in the game of basketball.
A couple of years ago, Pac-12 Coach of the Year is Kobe Johnson, the steal. 2-on-1, Boogie Ellis off balance, and then at the rim, it's denied. Ben Gregg blocks the shot of Harrison Hornery on the follow-through. Now Boogie gets the roll. 16 for Boogie Ellis. Nolan Hickman attacks, and off 1 foot in the window.
By the way, Gonzaga's doing a good job in beating the press, but what have you seen is speeding Gonzaga up. Gonzaga's playing at a way faster speed than what they were originally in the opening of the second half.
Arrington Page fouled and won. And Nolan Hickman looking around going, didn't mean to do that.
For the basket. The Gonzaga fouls at number 11, Nolan Hickman, his third.
I thought he should have given this one up there in transition early, but good job by Boogie hustling to stay in the play. And then you see him finishing through contact with the left and one. And then Arrington Page right here, this 6'11", 245-pound freshman, showing you the skill set, doing it off the dribble.
He had a lot of accolades himself coming out of the same high school with Isaiah Collier at Wheeler High School in Atlanta. And Page, who was ranked number 40 by Paul Biancardi, ESPN's national recruiting director, in the ESPN Top 100. And USC went to Georgia and got both of them. Down low, Braden Huff for Gonzaga.
Great patience by Gonzaga to get the ball and work it down low, and for Huff not to rush down low on the block.
Here's Collier.
Oh, my goodness.
Ball tipped out to Arrington Page. Harrison Hornery trying from deep, and the rebound, Anton Watson.
By the way, if you kids seen the block out that Nembhard put on Isaiah Collier, you would have thought that Nembhard weighed 20 more pounds than Collier. He literally fought him off the block for the offensive rebound.
And that's the thing is, Gonzaga, they do the little things, and they're not afraid to make a play to let somebody else get the accolades for the Zags. They're up 11, number 11 Gonzaga in USC in Vegas.
A lot of 11s there.
For cancer research, this is a game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. So it's the V Week. Please help if you can. Mark Few, who is so active in his charitable endeavors and Coaches versus Cancer, he does so much for that Spokane community. You know that it means a lot to him to participate here in V Week as the offensive foul against Gonzaga.
The offensive foul is on Gonzaga's number 0.
You can carve him out of the way. It just can't be so blatant. Right here, he stops, he waits, and he goes back into the defender. Now, if you get your body in front of him and you want to slow down, you want to keep him on your backside, that's one thing. But to literally lean into that, that's the right call.
Third on Ryan Nembhard. There's Collier double down low, and he traveled.
Great job by Huff coming over from the weak side. And that's how you double. You double staying connected to your other defensive player, not allowing him to split that gap in the middle.
First turnover tonight for Isaiah Collier, which the first few games was an issue.
That was a foul.
And the tip in, Ben Gregg stayed with it.
I mean, how resilient is Gonzaga? Just when you feel like USC is about to make a run, they get a strip, they get a stop, they make a couple of difficult buckets, and they just continue to extend this league. I am thoroughly impressed with Mark Few's team this year. I know they're ranked 11th in the country, but actually it feels like they are an underdog. It doesn't feel like, you know, it's, and I know a lot of teams are up in the air, but this team has something to prove.
Well, it's funny because Gonzaga wasn't picked to win the West Coast Conference this year. St. Mary's was the preseason pick to win the WCC. And you wonder if Gonzaga and Mark Few using that as a little motivation. And they were picked second to St. Mary's.
Yeah, St. Mary's is a good basketball. I know they're trying to play faster this year. I don't think we'll be seeing them play as fast. I think they'll slow it down back in pace. By the way, you know, you get a chance to watch a lot of high school basketball. And I know we're talking about speed here. I know the Zags never have to worry about the shot clock or things of that sort. But I saw a high school basketball game where a team held the ball for 6.5 minutes in the game. And Roxy, I'm at this point where I just feel like we are ready for a universal shot clock. Like, let's
for high school basketball.
For high school and college. I feel like it should all be the same. I feel like the way you play in college should be the same way you should play in high school. We should all go to a 24-second shot clock. And I know basketball traditionalists will say, no, we like 30. But I mean, the women's game is playing with the 24-second shot clock. And I feel like us as a men's game, it should just be 24 across the plate for everybody in the game of basketball.
Foul will send USC to the line, the first on Ben Gray.
Yeah, it's the right call. If Ben Gregg were to go up vertical with his arms, that would not be a call, but by leaning over on the 40, yeah, the angle out, it's the right call.
Joshua Morgan hits the first one.
We talk about that all the time, and you hear a lot of NBA guys do that. If you go up vertical, just make them make a difficult shot. Change the degree of difficulty from 5 until 9, and get the rebound.
So Morgan hits both. And the other thing for Gonzaga is they're missing a key guy this year. Steele Venters, who transferred in, was supposed to be a guy to help stretch the floor for Mark Few. And now they're without one of those prolific outside shooters that they brought in out of the just down the road from Eastern Washington. He was supposed to be a three-point specialist and do a lot of things for Gonzaga this year, and they've had to pick up the slack without him.
And I think about 6'7", 6'8", a good-eye three-point shooter for guys like Nembhard or guys like Hickman. That's a dream come true.
And the rebound, there's DJ Rodman. USC runs. Collier. Joshua Morgan couldn't control it. And now the Zags counter. Ryan Nembhard in transition. Ripped away by Rodman.
See right there, like that's the next level of his game. If he had the confidence to shoot the rock. The ball got swung very quickly by Johnson. Should have been a shot.
Here comes Gonzaga.
Good
Gregg draws the foul on Joshua Morgan, the fourth on Morgan.
Ben Gregg has been impressive as a junior. It's a big-time rip-through move right there to get to the rack. Has the footwork, has the hands, and has a soft touch as well.
And another player Gonzaga was hoping to have, but a medical retirement for Caden Perry because of the back issues that he was dealing with. And he's still working on his degree at Gonzaga. But those are two key players that Mark Few anticipated having.
Talking about a guy in Perry that can jump up and touch the square on the backboard with the 40-inch vertical. It's incredible that he's just a student now at Gonzaga. We wish him the best, and that's how difficult it is to play this game. You know, you're one injury away.
Zags have led by as many as 15, just past the midway point of the second half. By the way, Gonzaga has won 15 straight games against Pac-12 teams. Vincent Iwuchukwu with a slam. The last time a Pac-12 team beat Gonzaga was December of 2015. UCLA beat the Zags at the Kennel.
I'm sorry, 2015?
2015.
45-15 under Few against the Pac.
They've won 15 in a row, 20 of the last 23 against Pac-12 teams. Anton Watson goes baseline and follows up his own miss.
Anton Watson.
Even I noticed the PA guys getting into it.
It's Watson. That boy good.
Notice I'm not saying it's good and terrible.
I was waiting for it.
Because Anton deserves more respect. I'm putting respect on his name. Isaiah Collier gets inside.
Tell you, watch Collier, you think sometimes there's no place for him to go, and he just finds a crack or an angle and just ends up creating so much more space than what you ever thought even existed.
Deep three. What a shot from Ben Gregg. Mark Few has gotten 21 points from Huff and Gregg off the bench.
By the way, I mean, we talk about edge. Ben Gregg is smiling. He's talking trash. He's playing with a sense of urgency. This team is physical, and they are competitive.
And that one sails into the crowd. A turnover by Isaiah Collier. Gonzaga leading 69-55. The Zags have made 9 of 17 from 3.
Gonzaga is so good. I mean, they say that little thing, hand down, man down. You better keep that hand up against Ben Gregg. Shooters in the building.
Old Trafford.
69-55, number 11 Gonzaga leading Nick Young's alma mater, USC. As Nick, Swaggy P, sitting with Sam Perkins.
Sam Perkins.
Was he the original stretch four?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, have you ever got a chance to see him play in person?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his ability to stretch the floor and his IQ. And by the way he used to be able to put the ball on the ground and do things off the dribble. And then also a lot of respect to Kelsey Plum. I got a chance to watch her when she was at Washington. A prolific scorer, back-to-back WNBA champion, WNBA first team. I love watching her play. And by the way, when you watch her win a championship with the boombox, whenever she's coming in while Asia Wilson's trying to get her words across at the podium, it's one of the best things to see in sports.
And by the way, this is the floor of the Las Vegas Aces. Now, they don't play in this building. They play at the Mandalay Bay Arena there. But this is the Las Vegas Aces floor that they're using tonight here at the MGM Grand. As the tip, and then a foul will get Dusty Stromer to the line. And the breaks are going to Gonzaga here with 7:34 to go.
Well, it's all about extra effort. Who was that tip by? Ben Gregg. You talk about if you can't grab the rebound, then try to tip it to one of your own players. And what awareness by Ben Gregg on that tip play.
Second foul on Arrington Page. Dusty Stromer at the line. Now a career-high 12 points for the freshman, who grew up Southern California. He's from Sherman Oaks. In fact, he was playing last year high school ball against Bronny James when Bronny was at Sierra Canyon and Dusty Stromer was at Notre Dame High School. Stromer, Paul Biancardi had him ranked in the top 100, the number 34 recruit into college basketball this year. 15-point lead for the Zags. It's matched their largest of the night. Boogie Ellis, deep three. And there's Harrison Horner in the offensive glass, but missing the putback, and then he'll go to the line, and that's a foul on Anton Watson, his third.
The Gonzaga foul is number 22, Anton Watson, his third.
2 shots for the Aussie, Harrison Hornery. Came over to play high school ball in Southern California, went to Mater Dei.
Harrison Hornery at the line for USC.
Bronny James has a chance to be the leader of this team.
As a freshman.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this team is talented. And Boogie Ellis is a guy that can score the rock. I get it, Isaiah Collier has a chance to be the top pick in the draft, or a top 10 at minimum, at least. Kobe Johnson, great defender. I don't see a lot of orchestrators on the floor. I don't see a lot of, you need to be over here, you need to be there, here's what defensive set we're in. I don't see a captain on the floor yet. It feels like that's something missing You have a lot of individually talented players, and they can score in a hurry, but there's not a maestro, and I think that's what Bronny James could bring to the table.
Inside 10 to shoot. Anton Watson on the baseline. Spins out with a tip. Ben Gregg cutting through the key.
Hey, Ben Gregg does not stop moving. He is always active, always crashing the glass. And all the USC bigs, they're all trying to jump for the defensive rebound, and he's just moving, carving out space.
The drop off, and Vincent Iwuchukwu drops it in off the feed from Boogie Ellis.
And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, where's the pressure? You know, where is the defense that's making Gonzaga play uncomfortable? They're getting whatever they want.
A three, Ben Gregg.
And that starts with pride. It starts with pride. This is a pride check for USC.
Largest lead of the night for the Zags. But what a boost Ben Gregg and Braden Huff have given Mark Few off the bench tonight.
Well, Ben Gregg is getting offensive rebounds. He's getting tips to players for easy buckets. He's getting open looks from the three-point line. He is just so active on the court. You're going to see it right now. Look, the shot goes up. Everybody's staring at the fly of the ball. Who comes in for the putback? Ben Gregg. On the opposite side, once again, if you're able just to run your sets and it's not being met with any kind of friction at all, you're going to get wide open shots. And that's what I was talking about before, Roxy, for USC. First off, why are you just coming all the way back to the three-point line? Push up. Force them to run their offense, extend it away from the three-point line, make it uncomfortable, play passing lanes. A lot of this has to do with the conditioning of the guards for USC and the sense of urgency. And, you know, when you're able to get into your operating phase on the court, you know, that's half the battle.
5 sacks in double figures tonight. And Gregg leads the way now with 14, a season high. Twice last year he had a career best 18, once against Northern Illinois, also put up 18 against San Diego. But does USC have a run to get back? And it starts with Boogie Ellis.
Boogie Ellis.
18 for Boogie. The only other USC player in double digits is Collier with 12. Anton Watson backing his way in. And it drops for Anton Watson.
Just play him straight up. I mean, he's going to find a way to get around at the basket. It's a big-time move by a big-time player.
And the hometown kid from Spokane. Collier tries to turn the corner, keeps the dribble, then loses the basketball.
Who else but Ben Gregg again?
Ryan Nembhard leaking out, and the finger roll.
I'll tell you, the Zags are just taking the life out of USC. And they're so active defensively. I mean, look where USC is running their offense. I mean, you would have thought that Gonzaga is down double digits with the way they're playing on the defensive end.
Isaiah Collier cleans it up. But it's at this end. USC has just not been able to get stops.
Okay, so look, Hickman's walking the ball down. Hands are down here defensively. They're not being met with any resistance. All right, there we go, Boogie. That's the kind of intensity. You got to play. You got to compete. And I'm okay with the foul. I'm okay with the foul. Compete.
The USC foul to number 5, Boogie Ellis, his second.
You see the hands by Ben Gregg. Not only the hands, but then the outlet pass ahead. Gonzaga just plays with a sense of urgency, being up double digits, but they're not taking their foot off the gas. And by the way, you always practice good habits. Coach K would talk about this all the time. If that was a sprint, even when we're up double digits, we're setting the tone for how we want to play this game later in the season.
Ryan Nembhard hits both. (81-63) Gonzaga. Here's Joshua Morgan, had it stripped, but a foul will send Morgan to the line. As the Zags thought they were off to the races, it's The fourth on Anton Watson.
Number 22, Anton Watson, is fourth.
2 shots for Joshua Morgan.
Joshua Morgan at the line for the Trojans. Shooting 2.
Morgan 2 for 2 from the line. Leaves that one short.
All right, so they're up double digits. Watch Graham Aiken. Show, active hands. Gets back, sprints back. Show, active hands. I mean, they get a foul on the strip, but that's the kind of sense of urgency you want from your big on every ball screen. It's a sense of urgency. He gets there, he shows, and he sprints back.
And he's playing with 4 fouls.
Yeah, there's no half-assing anything. I mean, that's what you need from your leaders. They come with a certain demeanor in everything they do.
Ike doubled, and a tie-up, and we're going the other way. USC basketball, but Gonzaga has this one in control with 3:50 to go. 81-64, the Zags trying to close it out. ESPN's exclusive presentation, 9 a.m. Pacific, after Sunday NFL Countdown on ESPN and the app. And I would not want to be sitting in the college football playoff committee room, because those were the rankings coming into today. Georgia losing to Alabama.
So no teams from the SEC.
It's
potentially
possible. Michigan won, Washington won, Florida State won, and Texas won.
Texas won.
And Texas won at Alabama.
Yeah. Oh, looks like you got your 4.
Boogie Ellison fade away. But could you see it where the SEC is not in the college football playoff?
Are you asking me as a betting man? Because as a betting man, since we're here in Vegas, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Okay, then who gets left out?
I don't know. I'm not qualified to make those types of decisions, Rocky.
But if you're going to put somebody in, you got to take somebody out. And Bill Walton doesn't do it. Bill's got all 12 Pac-12 teams in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Still.
Georgia? I don't know.
Boogie Ellis from deep and hits a 3.
First 3 of the second half USC has made. First 3, 17 minutes into the second half.
83-69. Well, we know Washington is in, right? They're going to be in, and they had an impressive win against Oregon here last night. Speaking of impressive, Nolan Hickman gives the Zags 6 players in double figures tonight.
They call him Sticks. I will tell you today, he was pushing everybody in shoot-around in the practice. Just has a very high IQ and understanding of how to play this game.
Kobe Johnson, the reverse for USC.
Hey, Zags are going to be a problem at the end of the year.
You're looking forward to that matchup they have with UConn in a couple of weeks?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, we talk a lot about Isaiah Collier. Today, just 2 of 7 in the second half, 0 assists in the second half. But there's a young player that has a similar build to him that plays for UConn, Stephon Castle. Now, I'll tell you, when he comes back, along with Newton and Caravan, they're going to be a different team. I hope we get a chance to see him at the Garden when they go against UNC for the Jimmy V.
Not to mention Donovan Clingan inside. That game's going to be in Seattle, by the way. Kobe Johnson from deep, and a long rebound tracked down by Ryan Nembhard for Gonzaga. Plus, the Zags will play San Diego State at the Kennel in late December.
Mark Few just does it every single year. Even when, the thing I love, he has a Tom Kachowski. People at home don't know who that is, but he was a big-time scout for a long time. Rest in peace, Tom. And Tom would hold your hand after he would give you a firm handshake for the entire conversation. And Roxy, I'm talking about not letting it go. And Mark Few hit me with the same thing today. I kept trying to get my hand back, but he wouldn't let me get my hand back, But he's so engaging. He's so thoughtful in his delivery. And he's one of the best basketball coaches to ever coach the game of basketball. And Gonzaga is a blue blood. They're one of the best teams to compete in this game.
And he's so genuine, too, in those conversations. It's not coach speak. It's not
real
just fluff, just small talk. He really is genuine in those conversations that you have with him.
I mean, in the Zags travel, we were having a conversation today around relegation in a lot of these different conferences, and I firmly believe we're going to get to that place where it's like if you're an upper tier, there's going to be a different rev share model you're going to have with the league than if you're in the lower tier, and we're trending in that direction for college sports.
Boogie Ellis slides inside, and USC takes their final timeout. 23 for Ellis tonight with 1 minute to go.
Roxy, don't you think that's going to be the case? I mean, with a school like Florida State, you got private equity partners like Sixth Street Capital, JP Morgan trying to pay their fee to get them out of the ACC. You know, it just feels like if a Florida State team, their football team, is going to do different revenue than the Boston College, and that's just where we are. Gonzaga is going to bring more money to the WCC than Pepperdine or some other school. It's just where we are.
Coming up next, Sports Center from LA with Stan and Linda. They'll have a recap of the SEC championship game. Which 4 teams will head to the college football playoff? And then you talked about this earlier, the upsets in college basketball today. Marquette, hide your eyes, J. Will Duke, and Kentucky go down.
Shout out to Damon Stoudemire over at Georgia Tech. I mean, that was it's a big-time win, and then Kentucky going down at home. Not having DJ Wagner, obviously, I thought hurt, but still, I mean, those are the games that are give-me's at home.
And on Monday, we're going to have a new number 1. Mark Few's former assistant, Tommy Lloyd, will have the Arizona Wildcats in the top spot.
I mean, they are physical, they are aggressive, they're in your face, but it doesn't, I mean, like all these teams in college basketball, even with Purdue losing at Northwestern, you feel like every team is beatable. It's going to set up for one heck of a March Madness.
Final minute, full court pressure from SC. Anton Watson breaks it.
Smart play. Pull it out. See, and now you're seeing Isaiah Collier apply pressure. You wanted that 17 minutes ago. And that's the next step for USC basketball. They have the talent. They're going to get Bronny James back. I think they just need to find that extra gear defensively.
Dusty Stromer, 3. And the freshman has made 4 threes tonight. What a performance by Gonzaga here in Las Vegas.
To all the people that had the Zags written off, they are going to be right back when it counts the most.
Arrington Page pops out. And the rebound, Vincent Iwuchukwu knocks it free. Deep 3, Boogie Ellis. 26 for Ellis. But this will make it 16 consecutive wins for Gonzaga against a Pac-12 opponent.
You talk about dominance. You talk about competitive hunger. This is a team with some new faces, but the same style, the same Mark Few vengeance in which they play with.
So Greg Nixon puts a stoppage to the trash talking that Graham Ike and Boogie Ellis were going through midcourt. And Graham Ike just motioned to the scoreboard.
Hey, he's the enforcer. I told you, I mean, he's given hard fouls today. This Gonzaga team set a tone defensively, and that's the reason why they won this game by double digits.
89-76 Gonzaga knocks off USC as the number 11 Zags hit 12 of 22 from 3 tonight, and they shoot 52%. They hold the Trojans to 6 for 22 from 3, and in the second half they really stifled USC.
Gonzaga is going to be a heck of a team in the WCC. They did it on the defensive end, and USC is going to be okay. Just need to find that next gear.
6 Zags in double figures as they knock off the Trojans in Vegas. For Jay Williams and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein, so long from Vegas. Coming up next, Sports Center, Stan and Linda from LA.